Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dee Dee. We are the hilarious outcome of opposing brains sharing a mutual desire to share knowledge and positive thinking about hemp and cannabis.
We are here to tear down the walls built by Big Pharma and other big companies that seek to keep the human race in fear and divided.
We are here to shatter the myths about hemp and cannabis and change the stigma of this amazing plant. Welcome to Hemp and Happiness with the Hemp Queen
And Emperor.
podcast. Join us as we venture into this misunderstood and the unknown. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here today and listening to us. We have an amazing person that we invited today to talk to us on this podcast. Say hello to my little friend, Miss Beth. And I'm not going to mispronounce your last name, so you can say it.
Pinotti.
Thank you. But just a quick overview. Beth has been with 502 Hemp for what, 3 years? Almost 3 years, yeah. And she was a former RN, now turned to as our new cannabis consultant. And you're actually a certified cannabis consultant, right? You got that with the University of Boulder,
Colorado.
Yep,
Boulder. Yep. Certified in CBD and THC.
Correct. And even the history of it all.
Yes.
Heck yeah. That was pretty cool. There's learning is key. Education is key. And that's what we've always been about at 502 Hemp. And being able to offer that to Beth to take those classes, I think was huge. I think it's definitely helped you communicate better with some of our customers.
Right. Well, I learned a lot of CBD from you, but then as we were getting Delta 8 and the THCs in, I felt like I did not understand how to help the clients choose between a CBD and THC product. And then you also have those things like the terpenes with the sativa and indica, and each one will help treat certain things.
Right.
But, I didn't know that stuff. So taking that course made a huge difference.
Good.
Tell us a couple things about what you found most interesting in going through the course curriculum.
Just how many things that CBD can help with, and it has been studied and researched, but the FDA and the government acts like there's been no research on it, and this is a new product, but it's been studied for a long time for so many different things.
Yeah, just not necessarily here in the States. A lot of other countries have done the research on it because we have made it a Schedule 1 narcotic, so it's a little hard to do the research on it.
Yeah, and we could only study one marijuana plant from the University of Mississippi, and for you to get your hands on that was a lot of red tape.
Oh.
You have to go through a lot just to get a hold of the plant to study, so... They've changed that this year. They changed the law so we can study different strains from different places.
And they're allowing more universities to do more research on it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I gave that plant back, some flowers would be missing.
Why would you give it back?
Touche.
Right.
I lost that plant. I don't know what happened. There was a fire. It went up in smoke.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you would have to guard that marijuana, I mean, it would have to
Have a brownie.
be tracked. Yes.
So let me ask you this. What has been what's been the most fun thing or the most inspirational thing?
I think it's seeing the people that come back in. You get to see them, usually once a month, if not more. And you actually can see them physically change as they begin to use this product. That's the most mind-blowing thing for me. They're happier, they're smiling, because when they come in to see us, we're their last resort. They have usually tried everything else.
Yeah.
And it's usually a friend that refers them, and they come in, just suffering. And then you get to see them, a month later, and it's working for them, and they're happy. That is so rewarding. It just makes you want to cry.
I know.
Yeah.
Same.
Obviously not mentioning any names, but do you have a specific case or story that you can tell us about?
Oh, I remember one, Beth.
Which one do you
Beth
remember?
tell. Let
I've
Beth
got
tell.
one
You
in my
tell it.
head. Which one do you remember?
The one that was He was an alcoholic.
Yeah, that's the one I was
Is that
thinking.
what you were thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was so difficult. He came in, he had been trying to stay off alcohol, trying to change his life, and he was having anxiety so bad and hadn't slept for weeks. So he came to us, didn't have a lot of money. So he, of course, he bought the lowest dose product, and I taught him, don't take too much because, drug addicts, alcoholics, we don't know stop, things
Right.
like that. So more is usually better. So
And that's not always the case
that
with
is
CBD.
not the case with CBD is
Right.
what we've come to find. So I told him to take a half a dose for a couple days, see how that worked. If it didn't work, that's when you go up and dose. Well, he didn't listen, so he took about 3 full doses, came back the next day screaming at me because he was up all night and it was supposed to help him sleep. And I looked at him and I said, "How much did you take?" And he said, "I took 3 full droppers." I'm like, "You overstimulated your endocannabinoid system,
Right.
and that's why you couldn't sleep, and it caused anxiety." So he went back. He listened to me the next couple days, and a week later he came in and he looked like a different person. He was sleeping. He thanked me, So we went from a very angry customer, but he didn't listen to me. So
You gotta listen to Beth.
you gotta listen to me.
You gotta listen to Bethy when
'Cause
she gives
it's
you
true.
advice about that stuff. That's super important. I think that's the whole reason. Not only with your RN degree, but you have the experience, and that's why people come to see us, is to get that experience and to get that knowledge. That's why we're there, is to help people.
And we're learning from our customers.
Oh, for sure.
Because this, has not been on the market very long. So trying to see what dosages work for certain things and yeah, just how to take it and things like that. It's been a learning process for all of us.
Oh, for sure. What's your favorite product? And you can
My favorite product?
Yeah, you can speak freely.
No, I love the full spectrum CBD. I the THC is nice. I do like the Delta 9 products that we have now. Delta 8 makes me really sleepy, so
I
not
love it to help me
which
sleep.
yeah, I don't have a problem with that, so that's not my thing. But it's good for other people. But the full spectrum CBD, I'm no longer taking prescription anti-inflammatories for my arthritis. I have a torn meniscus in my knee. I don't have any pain anymore if I take that daily. So,
And you, what was it? Right before the pandemic hit, you actually tripped and really hurt your shoulder. Like you had to have surgery and everything.
I had a torn bicep, a torn rotator cuff tendon.
Not at the store. Shouldn't fall at the store.
No. Store safe place.
Yeah.
And it knocked my front teeth loose. So I had to have multiple surgeries and things like that. And I just upped my CBD. They did give me some prescription pain pills, and they actually asked me if I needed more. And I said no, because my CBD
Yay.
was so effective, and the doctors were amazed at my healing. And it helped through physical therapy.
And you
so
used
many
our
things.
topical stuff too.
Oh,
to
and
help.
topical.
Yeah.
The balm helped with the inflammation. I don't even have scars from my surgeries.
Even better.
Yes, because I use that. It's antibacterial.
We're not making claims.
No. Worked for me. That's what I'm claiming.
This is Beth's
And
experience.
I will say, Beth, having also had a bicep surgery and a rotator cuff surgery, so I know what all is involved in the recovery of that. You did heal very well, very quickly.
I agree.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
I
I
was
was when
pretty
she's like, I'm ready to
surprised.
come back to work. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm like, are you really sure? I was super shocked about it too. Yeah.
The
I
doctors
struggled
were
with my
amazed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I struggled with my rotator cuff surgery. My bicep was okay, but I couldn't believe it when you were back at work. I was terrified.
Yeah. I was doing 50
I didn't-
milligrams of CBD, of our full spectrum CBD, and I just did great.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would have been like if I didn't.
Right.
Probably
Right.
ended up like Matt.
As you can tell, folks, we have a lot of fun. I think we as a company are blessed to have Beth on board, and we brought her along today to talk to her to talk about the fact that she does have her cannabis certificates because she's another resource that we have available. A lot of people always ask for me. While I love that, I'm not always available as much as I'd like to be to everyone. So Beth kind of stands in for me. At least that's how I put it. And I joke now that she actually probably knows more than me, because of that. But she teaches us. We learn from her. We all learn from each other. And I think that's important. But another reason we wanted to bring her on today, tell us about what you do, your extracurricular activities outside of being a fantastic store lead. And
Hello. I am a Reiki master now. I got my Reiki master certification last month.
Explain what Reiki is to people.
So, Reiki is energy healing. It's understanding that we have energetic forces within our body that we can use to help us heal, just to help us through the day. Chakras. I don't know if anybody knows. Not a lot of people understand chakras.
We got time. Explain a little bit.
Okay. So you have 7 main chakras throughout your body. Starts above your head, goes all the way down to your feet. It's your energetic life force energy.
Okay.
Because we can't see it, people don't think it exists, but you can feel it. So if you think of your emotions as being centered in your chakras. So like if you get worried, you may get a headache. If you feel sad, you feel that lump in your throat. That's another chakra area. Your heart chakra, you feel that when you're sad or you're happy. Your solar chakra holds your power. It's in your solar plexus.
Mine's been flexing a lot lately.
No. And we, need to realize that we do have energetic power within us. When you get butterflies in your stomach, that's you feeling your chakras. When you get that pit in your stomach, that's negative energy, you feel in your chakras. So we do feel it's our emotions. And when you understand that, it kind of all starts making sense because you can't see energy, and that's another thing that I do. I am a paranormal investigator. I have a group, Serious Paranormal, and that you're dealing with unseen energy there. But
that makes
it's
sense.
still there, and these people are experiencing it, and you can't tell them it's not there because it is there. They're experiencing something. So there are unseen energies, throughout the universe. But I had done paranormal a long time before I started working with actual living energy. So that brought a whole new understanding of the paranormal and how that energy within us that we feel, we know we have it, does continue. Our bodies may die, but
I'm coming back to haunt people.
I hope you do.
Or
be
plant
watching
some
them in the
flowers
shower.
for them.
Right.
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing that.
So I don't think Matt really believes a whole lot.
Yeah.
To some extent, that's true. I'm a follower of the Tao. The Tao believes in the D, which is the life force energy that flows through us. How that relates to the chakras is similar, but a little different. And I take it with a grain of salt. How about that?
I did too until I started practicing it. When you actually practice it and you
Pray
get
over
results
Matt every day. Send him Reiki.
Pray for me.
Praying and practicing.
Oh, pray for me.
That's what I do every day. I pray, not just for you, but it's you don't. I started asking myself, what if? That's kind of how I got into CBD. I'm like, what if this does work? I didn't know.
Right.
First time we had tried it, my husband was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age, how old was he? 56,
Oh,
57?
Wow. Type 1 at
Right.
that age?
Right.
Wow.
And we almost lost him. He went into diabetic ketoacidosis and, refused to go to the hospital because he's a man and he thinks he's going to be okay. So finally, by the time I got him there, he was dying. So they were not concerned about what made his pancreas quit working. It's like, well, now you're diabetic. This is what you got to do. But I was questioning, how does your pancreas just quit working all of a sudden?
Oh, yeah.
And they don't question that. So it was things that I started asking, well, are there other options? As far as food, of course, I started studying food as medicine. Then I started studying, energetic healing, chakra healing. But and then we tried Rainbow Blossom CBD. I thought, well, let's try this because it's supposed to help with blood sugar. So, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I did all the right things trying to help him, but men are stubborn, and he just went on, did
I'm
his
gonna
own
agree
thing.
with that.
I know. I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
Matt.
Sorry, men. Sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
there's something
Some
to
women are
integrate.
stubborn.
It's
we are.
it's what's expected of us socially.
Yes,
be
But we're
stubborn.
born to be stubborn, for reasons that I've explained in earlier podcasts.
That's kind of
We're
true.
we're supposed to make sure everyone else is okay,
Right.
and in that selflessness, and as it's still called today, heroicism, disregard our own safety.
Right.
So that's the social role that's been put upon us.
And caregivers do that too.
Right.
Yes, for sure.
Right. Right.
So
So I agree.
we're always
There's no
putting
sorry,
other people.
Matt.
There's always people that are putting others first before themselves and not practicing self-care.
And you did that too.
And I did that too.
Yep, we've all
I
done
was
that. I've done
overweight.
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Struggling and not healthy. So yeah, you where were we going with that?
We were talking about how men were awesome.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you are.
So
Sorry, woman.
I took all those tools that I was giving to him and I started applying them. And I started getting healthier and, things started changing for me.
And even just the positivity of the healing aspect too, I think is super important.
Right. Well, having control,
Yeah.
feeling like, you're not given a pill and saying,
Right.
good luck with that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. How's your husband doing now?
Great.
Yeah.
He has an insulin pump and
Okay.
does okay, but you worry nonstop, but
You do.
and I still want to know why his pancreas gave out. I'm still,
Yeah. Which you will
And-
probably never know the answer to that, unfortunately.
Right.
Because sometimes organs do just fail for no
Just fail.
specific reason. I mean, that does happen. We know that in life. I think. How is he? Does he take the CBD regularly?
No.
Still not. Oh, we're gonna give him a hard time next time I see
I
him.
know. I don't understand. So
Well, I
he'll
mean,
take all those other prescriptions.
to each
but-
his own.
I know.
To each his own. I mean, that's the one thing. It's where we've been trying so hard to debunk the stigma when it comes to cannabis and CBD products, and everybody has them.
Right.
I mean, even our spouses.
Mhm.
I mean,
Exactly.
we all have it. Thank God John didn't. He was a little bit more open about that stuff, obviously.
Right.
But I was the one that was closed-minded.
Right.
I mean, I've said it before. I mean, I had fun in college. I made Dean's List the whole time, smoked a lot. But
But
when
marijuana is different than
it is,
CBD.
It really
It's-
is. It
It's
truly
very
is.
relaxing, but I don't think it's gonna change the way your body
No.
performs.
I think the CBD cannabinoid is much more medicinally healthy, I guess, for our receptors. A good way to put it.
Right. And I like to tell people, CBD is going to help bring your body into balance.
Yes.
And THC is great at treating the symptoms when your body is out of balance.
That's perfect. I like that. Yeah.
And that's another thing people don't understand is marijuana is so high in THC and so low in CBD. So people think they're getting CBD when they're smoking marijuana and they're not.
Right.
Well, they're getting some,
little.
but
Very little.
the cannabis plant, the cannabinoids in the cannabis plant is essentially like a pie chart. And the larger you make one cannabinoid, the more you're shrinking the space for the other cannabinoids.
Correct.
So when a cannabis plant is designed to be and modified to be higher in THC concentration, which most marijuana plants are nowadays. They want the biggest, baddest, strongest, like you were saying. Well, why do 3 doses or why do 1 dose when you can do 3? And what a lot of people don't realize is all those great cannabinoids that offer so much benefit, you're sacrificing those for that high THC content, which really isn't going to do anything besides freak you out, make you super hungry, make you not have a good time. So it's something to think about.
And the CBD brings down that psychoactive effect of the THC. So marijuana growers don't want a lot of CBD because, it's all about getting higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about.
No, it's
Right.
not.
Right.
We're talking about medicine.
Yes, in a sense.
Hey, laughter is the best medicine.
Alternative.
True. Relaxation is good.
Alternative medicine
Mm-hmm.
is good, and as we've stated on the show time and time again, that includes recreation. Recreation is medicine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sitting in a
You can't
hot
you can call it
bathtub.
recreational, you can call it medicinal. Recreation is medicinal,
I agree.
and that flows right into the marijuana thing, which we're not going to get into on this podcast, but I had to mention that. No, because I want this. I'm really what I'm most interested in having CannaBeth on the show is.
Oh yeah, that's her nickname, by the way,
Yeah.
CannaBeth.
Is this the first time that's been said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call her
That
CannaBeth.
was a former employee
Yeah.
named me that, and it kind of
It
stuck.
Between Bethy and CannaBeth.
Yeah.
That's what we call
And
it.
I like it.
Well, because knowledge is power, and getting out there to do that discovery and create that level of critical thinking and analysis is not an easy pursuit. And, Beth, while we assisted in that, took that upon herself and did that on her own time and made that
for sure.
sacrifice,
Yeah.
which is huge. So what I'm really interested on this show is, what tidbits did you pick up, which you've discussed, but I would love to hear more. And what do you really have to say for the listeners out there that are interested in self-healing, which is really what you're all about. You're a
Right.
cannabis consultant, you're a Reiki master, you're a healer. I mean,
I'm in the
broad,
healing arts.
you are a broad spectrum healer.
I like that broad spectrum
Yeah, I
healer.
like it.
So
One day I'll be full spectrum.
you're a full spectrum healer. And we have the ultra spectrum healer coming out soon.
Yes,
But with
we
that,
do.
but with that being said, what would you say to someone who is wanting that help but not knowing how to get it? Go
Yeah,
for it.
I think, the main things that I learned were the different age groups and the use of cannabis. So, with the elderly, a lot of them grew up in the 60s and baby boomer generation have no fear of it. And so they are willing to use it for, they've done the prescriptions. They're not scared of the plant. They're willing to try it, but knowing the right doses, and especially with THC, because like I said, they have no fear of it.
Right.
And it kind of amazes me. It's like, oh, grandma's like, I don't
Oh
care if
my
I feel a
gosh,
little
right?
happy. Yeah. And it's the
There's
funnest
so much
thing. And it's a
fun.
fun job when So they were like, yeah, give me more. I want the hot,
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, go low and slow. But, and then, and how do you prescribe a cannabis plant to children? Because you do not want the THC in there. You should not have anyone under 21 consuming THC just because we don't know what it's going to do to a growing brain. It's same with pregnancy. We don't know what cannabis does to a fetus, so you don't want to take it while you're pregnant.
True.
Just, we don't have the research. What are you feeling
am
there?
the product of what you get.
Same.
What?
Same.
Are you
So-
talking about marijuana smoking
Well,
while
not while pregnant.
you were
Thank God I
in,
never had
in,
that problem.
in utero? Or
I don't know about that. I mean, shoot, my mom smoked cigarettes, but
right.
I do know that women produce cannabinoids in their breast milk. So they actually give those cannabinoids if they are breastfeeding their baby. The cannabinoids, all of them help our body, right? Period. So Well, I'm not saying we're getting kids high. That's not what I'm
No,
saying.
right.
I'm not saying
Right,
that.
right.
But
What are you saying?
I am
Yeah,
saying,
What are you
saying?
saying?
Where
Get
we
to the
going with
point,
this?
man.
I got that point out there. What I'm saying is that little bit of THC that is in our
Right.
full spectrum,
0.3%.
and sometimes, most often, less than that.
Right.
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 I mean, it just is. That little bit can still provide help to people in need.
Right.
Because THC does have its benefits, truly,
Exactly.
especially for autistic children, even though I'm not making claims, but it does help people, even
yes.
younger ones, even with ADD, ADHD. Now, do I also understand the legalities of
That's
THC?
the main problem.
Yes, and that is the main problem. Because if a woman has been taking THC, they do blood work when she gives birth. If there is THC in her system and there's THC in that baby's system, you've got a mess of a trouble with CPS, right? We don't want that at all. If a kid gets drug tested and all of a sudden there's THC coming up in his system, you don't want that mess at all either.
That's the
We
issue.
have those other products without the THC, the broad spectrum, and the THC free line as well. While I think that it's perfectly safe and perfectly fine to give that to kids, we also understand the fears that parents have.
Yeah.
And that's why we have those other products.
Exactly. And that's the main thing.
Yeah.
No one's saying it's dangerous.
No.
That THC has been found to be dangerous. But yeah, it is the legal problems that parents face. A lot of kids are drug tested for sports now.
Exactly.
So, that small amount of THC can build up in your system and you can show positive.
And where is THC stored at in the body?
It is stored in your fat.
Yes, it is.
In your fat cells. And
So-
why is THC in your body for so long?
Right? Because it's not a drug.
Not a drug. It's not a toxin. Your body's holding on to it longer because it's we produce our own endocannabinoids. That's what endocannabinoid means. Through our endocrine system, the plant cannabinoids we're getting are phytocannabinoids. So, what we can't produce through our own body, we can use this plant to help us with having more of that in our system.
Find its homeostasis.
Yes.
Which
My
is
favorite
always
word.
important.
Yes.
Our balance.
And it's interesting because I had a blood test a couple weeks ago. Doctor came in and said, Mr. Dykes, I got to tell you, we found THC in your system. And I said, you did? You better give it here. Sorry. Just trying to lighten the conversation.
He
didn't give it back.
Okay. Well, yeah,
No,
but-
he in fact pulled back and was like, mine. This is my THC now.
Hey, doctors are getting
Speaking,
more.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to go into. We're getting a lot more doctor referrals, which is mind blowing because we are
love it.
finally past that little bit of stigma we've been fighting against, because they've given up. They don't know what else to offer their patients. And it's always that last resort, try something natural. But
We've discussed that many times, haven't we, Matt? Yeah. Natural is always best.
yes, so that's becoming a big deal. Pain clinics,
Yep.
people don't want these prescriptions anymore, or they can't prescribe them anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So people still need relief. So my favorite story about a physician referral is the guy that came in and his doctor told him, said, well, I'm not going to see you anymore if you start using CBD. And the guy's like, really? You would not see me as a patient if I started using CBD? He's like, you won't need to see me anymore if you start using CBD. I'm like, a doctor said
I know.
that.
That's
So
awesome.
they know.
They
They
do.
know. They're
But-
just not allowed to talk about it.
Right. Because it's not FDA approved.
Right.
Yeah. And
There's-
other reasons.
Yeah.
But
There's what we know, there's what we don't know, and there's what there is to be discovered. And right now, what we don't know exceeds what we know. And that's because these studies haven't come out yet. And we just talked about this on a previous podcast, but it's time for these studies to come out.
Yes.
I mean, it's time for the knowledge to be released. You can only keep it hidden so long. and people need to know so that we can stop these ridiculous claims that are hurting the industry, saying CBD will cure everything,
Right.
and then the ridiculous claims that say CBD will do nothing.
Right.
I mean, people deserve to know. Where this is the 21st century. Last time I checked, I don't know because I frequently time warp,
I do
but
too.
you know, the 21st century, it's time. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Well, and I think that's what's important about Beth being our certified cannabis consultant, because she has that little bit level of knowledge more so than the lay person, obviously. And so she's able to educate easier and provide that knowledge to our customers and to people that need it. I mean, I'm self-taught. I mean, I kind of self-taught Matt too. I taught you, but having more information or being able to find the answer is super important. And that's what we're all about.
You gonna get that self-made tattoo on your knuckles?
I don't know.
That'd
my
be
hands
sweet.
are pretty.
Yeah.
I'd
I
like to
kind of
see
like my
that.
hands the way they are. But thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe on her middle finger.
That
Self-made,
would be
Matt.
for
I'm
me.
self-made.
You're gonna get a tattoo on your middle finger just for me.
Yep.
The one with the mustache.
I love it.
Sometimes. Talk about more about this paranormal stuff,
you like
because
my
I
paranormal
do
stuff.
kind of like it, and I think it's fun.
It is fun, yeah. So I've been investigating the paranormal for 22 years now.
Wow.
I know. Back in 2000, had a job working in a law firm. So, that's our little me and Dee Dee law firm thing. But I worked nights. I was going to nursing school during the day and working full time as secretarial support in the evenings.
Okay.
So, when those attorneys didn't need us, we had a lot of time to play on the internet. So I started, researching places to go or look for haunted locations, things like that, and reaching out to people who were doing the same thing. So that's when I started going to places, and I've always believed it. I've never really had a paranormal experience, that was life-changing or anything. I just found it fascinating. Read, since I can remember anything scary, I was reading or watching. And I just felt like I needed to go out and prove to myself we do go on. I lost my dad at a young age. And I think that spurs you to say, you're not gone. You couldn't have just left me. You don't disappear. So that might have spurred some of it too. So in 2013, me and a friend decided to start our own paranormal group. So now we have people who contact us who have hauntings in their homes, paranormal activity. So we try to rule out anything that could cause it, anything that could be explained. We use a lot of scientific equipment, electromagnetic field detectors, shadow detectors, things that we can actually, or in voice recorders. You can pick up spirit voices.
so
You can have
creepy.
conversations with spirit. And it is pretty mind-blowing. And when you start doing those things and those things happen, you just get more excited about it. But yeah, we try to help families. We can't get rid of entities for you. That is something you have to do yourself, and you have to take your power back. So that's part of the
It's
Reiki.
all about taking the power
It's
back.
the power. Love over fear. I'm like, you
Always.
have to put more love into your household and less fear. They feed on fear. Negative energy feeds on fear.
That makes sense. I mean, even in non-paranormal.
Right.
Yeah, negative feeds off of negative.
Right. And positive feeds off of love, So using those techniques or understanding, they have to find a way to get that into. I can say blessings, and I actually have gotten rid of an entity one time. And that's when I became a full believer in Reiki, because I didn't think that I could make an evil spirit, leave a teenager alone. He was molesting. It was the spirit of her father who molested her as a teenager.
Yeah.
He passed away of a drug overdose. He would come to her room still in the middle of the night as spirit and molest her. So they reached
Oh,
out. I
wow.
know. You
That's
think you're finally
crazy.
free, and yeah,
Ugh.
it was crazy. So we go and we did our investigation. Didn't have a lot of activity, but we said we're gonna do our prayers. We're gonna sage, and we're gonna try to get rid of this evil entity in your household. So did that, and I learned saging is all about intention. It's not the power of the plant necessarily, it's the energy,
Power of the
the
plant.
power of the plant. So I just hoped it worked. So we left there. I'm driving home and I'm almost to my house, and I see a man. This is February. He's standing on the side of the road in jean shorts, a red, white, and blue tank top, blonde hair, and it just looks odd. I'm like, why is he? It's 1:00 in the morning. He's standing on the side of the road. I'm like, what's he doing there? I'm like, all right, just driving. Next thing I know, within seconds, this man was next to my driver's side window, and his face was blurry, and he was screaming. I can still hear that
Oh,
scream.
that's so creepy.
And I was like, dude, why'd you run out in the road? I didn't hit you. Why are you screaming at me? It's still thinking it's a human being.
Right.
So I look in my rearview mirror and there's nobody there. So I go home and I'm like, well, that was weird, kind of like stuck with me.
Dude, that's
Didn't know
really
what it
creepy.
was. And that's the first time I'd ever seen an apparition, and I didn't even know that I saw one yet. So I reached out to the mother of the little girl or young girl, and I said, something weird happened to me. I just want to throw this at you. I was like, I ran into a man on my way home wearing jean shorts, red, white, and blue tank top, blonde hair, and he was screaming at me, and then he disappeared. And she sent me his photo from his mugshot. Her ex-husband, this young girl's father, had on the red, white, and blue tank top they had given him for Christmas, always wore his jean shorts. So I saw that man on my way home. He screamed at me like he was angry that I kicked him out of his house, but she never got touched again. He never came back.
That is.
I know.
Oh my gosh! I mean, cold chills for
I know.
real. Cold chills.
It
for
was
real.
life changing.
Oh, I bet that
it
was.
was really, yeah.
I mean, there's no question. My mom passed back in 2010, and sometimes I will feel her presence with me.
Yeah.
She's always in my heart.
Right.
I remember I was struggling because I had become a mom, and I lost my mom, then became a stepmom. So it was kind of rough there back in 2010. And I remember I felt her touch, like she used to
Yes.
touch my forehead when I was sleeping. Like she'd come in and just touch and I swear I felt that.
I know
And
you
that's
did.
out of love. And
Yes.
I will have dreams of mom, and I call it my visits. So we
Right.
get to have visits together.
Right.
So I definitely believe in the afterlife for sure.
Right,
There's no
right,
question
yeah.
about it. I definitely think there's always energy, especially if you're willing to open up to it.
Right.
And yeah, keep the bad shit out.
Right.
Keep the good stuff in.
Exactly.
Yeah, but keep the good stuff in. But yeah, be conscientious of that. There's it's a higher spiritual power, I guess. I don't know, but it's pretty cool. I think it's kind of neat what she does on the outside of the work. I find it fascinating.
I love it. It's fascinating because
It
you never
is.
know what's going to happen.
True.
I bought a dash cam after that, by the way, because
heck
I was
yeah, I
like,
don't blame you.
I
else
can't
see
prove
that?
to anybody this happened. Nothing's happened.
I
since
believe
then.
her. I
No.
believe her.
We had a fun time with that dash cam. When you showed me that video of the animal that ran in front of your...
Oh, the deer.
the
Yeah.
deer, yeah.
That was awesome.
That's my insurance commercial. We were talking about my friend wanted to cancel her full coverage, and right then a deer runs out. She's like, "Okay, I'm not canceling
canceling
it."
I love it.
I think we have a lot of fun, and I think we bring the whole crew at 502 brings a whole different variety of. I mean, we're all
Right.
different.
Yeah.
We're all in this, together to help people. So
Yeah.
I think it's so much fun. Thank you for coming on the show.
thank
I think it's
you.
awesome. You got anything else to give to our listeners or say or anything?
Do your research. That is, educate yourself. You know, we're not saying CBD is going to help with everything, but it helps with a lot of things. And that's not what the FDA says, but that's what our clients say. And that's how I tell people. I'm like, well, you know, our customers say it helps with this, because the FDA won't let us say that.
That's true. That is
So-
very true.
Listeners out there that might want a consultation from you, be it CBD or Reiki, how would they get a hold of you?
502 Hemp. Give me a call there.
Okay.
502-654-7100.
Leave her a message. I mean,
Oh,
if
wow.
we're not there-
Paranormal, Reiki.
I didn't even line that plug up.
I know,
It
right?
just was like a
I remember
domino.
the phone number.
I know.
I always have to look.
Goodness.
take
We
a
could
message
literally
and
make
give
that a
it to her.
commercial.
Right.
And we'll be back right after this scheduled break.
Well, thank you so much for being a
Thanks
part
for
of the show.
having me.
And my gosh,
Yeah.
thank you for all that you do for us and our customers. I think having you there and your knowledge, it truly is a blessing. And I don't know that I've said that enough to you, but I appreciate you more than I think I can ever express. So thank you.
I appreciate you all. I think we all work so well together at our common goal, and we're just going to keep rocking it.
Yes, we are. And thank you guys for listening again. Follow us, you know, give us a like, spread the love of our hemp and happiness, and always keep it hempy out there. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Hemp and Happiness with the Hemp Queen
And Emperor.
Keep your mind ever open and expanding. Like, subscribe, review, follow us, all the good stuff. And
Keep it hempy out there.